Hi everyone, this is Group 1, and today we are presenting the case study of Othellonia. I'm Chandani Raval, and I have my group mates Rutvik, Lilan, Ferdous, and Muzammil. Next slide. So, Othellonia has been in decline for many months. The game has gone weak, and it is becoming a challenge for the game to regain its position and sustain its passion. So, the main focus here for us is to increase the brand awareness through social media by using different mediums and to make unique than its competitors by making some latest modifications and uh, some new technology to the game which can differentiate Othellonia from its competitors. So, for the recommendations for better marketing strategies, we have recommended four of the strategies, which are acquiring new users, retention and engagement of current users, to focus on monetization of the game. And our final recommendation would be to have more focus on monetization and to utilize the influencer marketing for the game. Next slide, please. So, talking about the problem statement here, Othellonia, as we discussed above, that it was going in a decline phase. Like the game was experiencing really low retention numbers for months, and it was a real struggle for the game to keep up with the enthusiasm, and it was slowly growing out. So, in order to just come back in the game, like come back in the market, the founders of the game came up with growth strategies to keep the game back on its point and like top the charts and as well as to be loyal to its customers by uh, suggesting marketing strategies to promote the game, which would be to collaborate with the famous fast food restaurants like McDonald's or increase their sales through social media by connecting through YouTube and specifically the gamers, which can enhance the market and it can attract more customers. Next slide, please.
For the SWOT analysis, the strength is free download and it can attract more players. iOS and Android it is more convenient for players on different devices, and game animation is exquisite, is very distinctive, and can attract the interest of the player. And mechanics multiple game mechanics can provide a better game experience for players. And for weakness, Othellonia is an old game. Othellonia is a traditional game and similar to the chess. Othellonia is very local and it is a Japanese game, and many of the settings in it tend to be concepts that Japanese players like. And for opportunities, it is internationally Othellonia considered the accessibility and the operability of the game can improve the internal game settings, such as the soundtrack of the game, and use social media to promote Othellonia like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube advertisements, and develop new character lines and game models. New characters and game modes will appear to a wide variety of games. And for the trade part, it has a strong competitor such as a Fixable Pandemic, which is a board game, and Dina pays more attention to Nintendo products due to the large number of the Nintendo players. Dina pays less attention to Othellonia products. Next, please. And for the goals, Othellonia should increase the brand awareness of it and attract more players. And for problem parts, Othellonia as a Japanese game league of a character set for the world, and it has many competitors such as similar board games and other highly ranked games. Next, please.
So in the consumer analysis, about 54% of the Japanese population are gamers, and most gamers, what they try to do is like they easily get bored with one game, so they try to switch to another game. And since Othellonia is a local game and it's an old game like a chess or a board game, many gamers wouldn't be staying for long in this game. Rather, they would want to switch to some other attractive and adventurous games. And this, many competitors are gaining taking this as an advantage, for which they're making more new games that is attracting the gamers. So by 2019, as we know, that they have acquired a majority of the game in the company, but after that there was a slow decline in the game because of not developing or updating its game, for which like the sales declined, and like the consumer are switching to new games. So this is the consumer analysis.
So moving on to the strategic alternatives, we've narrowed it down to three in total. The first one being acquiring new users. And with this specific alternative, and with each of the alternatives, we want to associate a specific marketing program. So to acquire new users, we would use paid media or the mass TV ads. The advantages of is that it generates awareness and usage of Othello. It increases the number of customers, and it also helps to compete with foreign competitors. The disadvantages of this alternative would be that it's very costly, both financially and in the time sense. It would take a lot of time to shoot commercials, production, and then actually airing the commercials on TV. The second disadvantage is that it may not replicate the positive experience from the first commercial. The first commercials did well in terms of generating awareness, but the second commercials, users may become fed up with the advertising or may not want to play the game anymore. The second strategic alternative is retention and engagement of current users. So the marketing program that you would utilize with this is community building or the off-Kai events that Othello has done previously. Some advantages of this is that there's a yearly continuous increase in participants. Pre-pandemic, of course, there was always more and more people showing up to these events in person. The second advantage is that it understands what kind of voices exist in the community. So are the customers happy with how the game is? Do they want to see a certain character get a certain boost? Do they want to see new characters entirely, and so on and so forth? And the disadvantages are that it's very costly financially and timely. And also this wouldn't work in a COVID or pandemic situation, obviously, since we can't have mass gatherings of people. And this and for the third strategic alternative, we would focus on monetization. The marketing program to utilize for this would be influencer marketing, or specifically YouTube gaming celebrities. The advantages of this is that it generates revenue for the company. It also generates awareness for Othello through online reach, a mass online reach. Thirdly, it builds a long-term following with trust. And of course, it's COVID friendly, which in today's environment is very important. The first of the disadvantages is that it's starting to get more and more expensive. Influencers are starting to charge more and more per post, which can lead to the company starting to question if the influencer is worth it. And the second disadvantage is that our brand reputation could possibly be ruined if the influencer is involved with a scandal, as has happened with previous companies in the past. So our final recommendation is our focus on monetization plus utilizing influencer marketing. Specifically, we looked at this quote from the article that said moderate and heavy players were as engaged as they used to be, if not more willing to spend money on the game. So we view this as a positive outlook and a way to build our brand to generate revenue and to allocate resources to the game. For our implementation plan, the first phase would consist of 3 weeks of collecting data on the users that have purchased before and users that may purchase again or may purchase for the first time. We would be focused on monetizing heavy users, which account for 3% of MAUs or a million, and moderate users, which are 16%. The second phase would be 4 weeks, and we would reach out to influencers that match our criteria that we're going to set. Of course, it would have to be family friendly content or gaming content specific or related to our Othello. And also, we would be collaborating with them on what content to post and the best times to post it. Finally, in our last phase for 2 weeks, we would be optimizing our purchase procedures. So this would mean that this would make the in-app purchases of the game more easy for the consumers so that they aren't frustrated with longer loading times or freezing screens. That concludes our assignment, and thank you for listening.